Welcome to another video from Dr. Lock. In this one here, we're actually going to be looking at this box that I've got here. It says CRV, no keys, full set, and it gives us the VIN number. So apart from that, we don't know much more about it. We do have a part number here. We could probably look up off the Honda website and some other sort of probably packing label. So the VIN number and the part number is two good bits to start from, but from that we can only get so much information. So it's a bit of a puzzle box, you know. It's got no key, and it's no good to anyone without a key. So I thought today I might as well just make a key for it. So here we have, inside the box, is one big ignition and a transponder coil that sits around the ignition, a couple of door locks, and a boot lock. And that's all that's in the box. So without a key, this whole set is kind of useless. The ignition looks to be in good condition. Nothing seems to be wrong with it at all. This antenna simply sits straight over the top here. Which way does it go? Fits on here like that. That has the positions marked in it. Also has some model numbers and things along those lines. Needs one little screw in the side just to clip that on, and when the key goes in, then it'll actually pick up the transponder that's in the ignition. So we're not worried about that. We're not worried about this ignition for now. We're not going to make a key from this ignition. Look, it can be done, but it's a lot more work and hassle to make a key from the ignition. So I'm going to push that one aside. Now this is a complete set. Everything indicates that it's a complete set, so we should be right to start making a key. Now, two door locks. Door lock is the best place to start for most cars, drive side door lock, to actually find a key code. Failing that, we could use the Lishi tool and pick the lock around and then decode it. We don't have one of them, so the next option is we could look through this window right here and make a key. And I'll give you a bit of a close-up on how that works. Got this magnifying glass. Let's see if we can give you a nice zoom in. Just focus up. Okay, so we're about there. So when you put in a key blank into the cylinder, sorry, there's getting a bit of reflection there. Okay, so when you put the key blank into the actual cylinder, all of the little wafers move up and down, and from there you can start to read them. So I can see already there's quite a large one popping up about here. The first one is smooth, and these also have opposing wafers, so one side spring loaded this way and the other one spring loaded, well, one's spring loaded down, one's spring loaded up. So but by this window you can actually gauge it and start to make a key that way. That's a little bit harder. We're going to go for the easiest method, and the easiest method would be to actually use the code which is supplied on the lock. Now on this one here, actually I'm going to use that magnifying glass again to show you this, because it's not always easy to read the code. Okay, I don't know if you can see it. You probably can't. Right here I have some numbers right here, and those numbers that I can identify are 6, 9, 9 and then nothing, because there's a bit of a mark here. So I look at the second one, passenger side one, and we're a little bit more lucky here. Just could zoom in and see so I can show you this. That's with a magnifying glass too. Without a magnifying glass, can we do it? Ah, that's better. Stay still. Okay, so our code, now I've got to re-zoom it in, sorry about this. There you go. Can you see that 6999 just under the 0D0? That would be our code, and the last digit of course is on some sort of ramp, and the nines aren't very clear. The first one looks sort of like a 0, but it's got a little bit of a leg underneath, so I can comfortably say 6999 is our code, which was quite difficult to obtain from the actual lock. So when people want keys made from codes, it's often that someone will actually read that code wrong, or look at it and only find half the code. That's why it really takes a real trained eye to be able to get the code off the key and work out what the stamps actually mean. Right, so now we go over to Instacode, because we want to do this the easy way. this thing doesn't automatically focus. Just push the button. Okay, that should be focused. Now on Instacode, from the VIN number actually, first of all, I looked it up and I found that, yeah, it is a Honda. It's not a CRV as marked on the box, it's actually a HRV. HRV, there we go. You can kind of see what I'm doing. It's a HRV, so that's about all the information I could get from the VIN number. So after that, I went over to Instacode, and from that number that we found on the side of the focus, from the number that we found on the side of the door lock, our key code, I was able to put that in, and then I could see from the actual make and model, I've got 4 or 5 choices. Now these later choices, starting off with a H, a J, a H, and a J, were actually a double-sided wave key, or a laser key, so it wasn't that one. I can tell by the key, I can tell by the actual shape of the keyway. And then I looked at the top here, and we've got 1999 to 2005. Now I'm pretty sure this is a later, like 2012 model, but our code suits that particular series. So I've gone in there, which is the double-sided key here. I've then got myself a key, a HON 58 is the correct one, but I checked it and I can use a HON 46R too. So, sorry, it's a HON 58R. From there I've typed it into Instacode, and Instacode's given me this chart here. So now I can cut the key up. I can also put my key blank into the lock and check if the deepest cuts are appearing in my code here. The deepest cut being a 6 cut, and I mean I've got a really deep cut here right down the back, which is a 5 and a 1. So that looks like a really deep cut, and that looks like a 1. And now I can just double check, and it looks like I've got another 5 hiding under this little ledge here. Alright, so now to make a key, let's put it through the Silca Unicode and cut it. Okay, so here's our Silca Unicode, one of the old ones. We're going to be using that. Now I've got my information here, and the most important thing I'm looking for here is a Silca card, which is 262. So we're going to turn this on, power, waiting for data. I'm going to go local, enter 262, enter, and it's going to ask us for our cuts. The depths are 1 to 6, our depths are 1 to 6, so we're happy there. And we've got 8 cuts along here, so 1, 6, 3, 3, 1, 6, 3, 3, confirming 1, 6, 3, 3, and then 3, 5, 5, 1, 3, 5, 5, 1, enter. Jaw A, position 0, we put the key blank into. So I should have brushed down my machine, it's pretty messy here. So there's jaw A, this is position 0. See if I can do this one-handed. Jaw A, position 0. Okay, we got it. Okay, so there's our key in there. Jaw A, position 0. Jaw A, position 0. Push start, push start. It's done like a bit of a laser cut, but that's okay. That makes it just a little bit smoother to get in and out of the lock. Look at that, one-handed. I've rotated the key onto the other side. Jaw A, position 0. Push start, push start. Let's check our key. That looks pretty good. Okay, now let's go back to the bench and see if it works. So let's check it against our chart here. 1633551. Looks pretty good to me. Let's go check it. Okay, so I'm back with the moment of truth. We have 3 door locks and an ignition. 3 door locks and an ignition. This key that we just cut must work. Now we did cut it by specs. As long as our number is correct, our key should be correct, and the lock should work perfectly. As with other car keys, after 10 years they generally get worn down, the wafers get worn down, but by having a key cut to code is kind of restoring at least the key side of things back to its original configuration, so it won't be worn down. So what happens is the keys wear down, then the wafers wear down, and then it starts to not marry up. But if one's worn down and you restore one, sometimes you can get a bit more life out of the locks. Alright, so the moment of truth, let's pop it in. Let's pop it in this one which has the window and see how it lines up. And so far everything I can see in here is all lined up, so I give it a turn. Absolutely perfect. No resistance, no clickiness, nothing. So now this lock door set, or this whole set of keys. Okay, so we do have a problem here with this boot. Now it could be a number of things. The key blank that I've used might be slightly different for this one. Sometimes you can have keys that only work the doors and the ignition but not the boot. They're like a valet key. That could be the issue. I've cut it on a Hon 46R, and in the recommendations here it was Hon 54R. So there could be a bit of a difference there, and that could be why it's not actually going in. But it should go into the ignition and it should turn. Okay, and we've got an issue going into the ignition as well. So, time to now recut this back on the correct key and see if that works. Okay, so now I have the correct key blank, Hon 58R, which does appear here. When I go through my... Actually no, it doesn't, because it doesn't show you Silca. This is a Silca key blank. What I should have done from the start is actually check this key, and now it goes into the boot. Goes into the lock, goes into the ignition. So that's my mistake. I burnt a key blade for no reason. Shame on me. But the next one I recut, I'm going to recut it the exact same way, then we're going to try it again. Okay, so now we have our key cut. Let's give it a quick deburr. Okay, make sure that we're not going to put any swarf into or shavings into the thing. So we've got ourselves a nice key. Now we know it fitted because we tried it before we cut it. Let's try it in the boot lock. Absolutely perfect, smooth, easy in, easy out. Perfect, smooth, easy in, easy out, left and right. And now the big test, the ignition. Okay, so what did we kind of learn from this? Okay, first thing is the numbers are virtually impossible sometimes to read, especially the way that they're stamped, and you're going to need a magnifying glass and to possibly pull out two door locks to compare them, because it wasn't until I got to the second door lock that I could actually decipher between the two to get the code. That's issue number one. Issue number two is if you want a key that will only work the doors, you can use a Hon 46R. Most people would never want that, but you know, if you just want to work the doors on 46R, no ignition and no boot. Also, what I should have done is I should have checked this key that I was going to cut in all the locks before I actually started to cut the lock, before I started to cut the key. A lot of the time I get a bit lazy and I just grab a key and I check it in the door locks, but it's clear on this car here you need to check it on the boot and the ignition to see if it'll slide in before you cut it. If not, you waste a key. Next thing we learnt, the VIN number only gives us the make and the model, doesn't give us anything else. From your dealer, if you do have your VIN number, you can take it, your rego papers to the dealer, pay him sometimes $20 or $30 and actually get your key code. If you have your key code, it can save you money. The locksmith doesn't have to pull your door locks apart. So it's a good investment. If you spend $30, you might actually be able to save yourself $100, $150 if you're in the situation of a lost key. So keep that in mind. Next thing here we learnt was Honda. Although this is a 2014, on my Instacode listing I found the series of the code between 1999, it was 1999 to about 2005 or 6, so it was a lot lower than the actual car that we were working on, which is unusual because most of the time the code matches the year and all those type of things. So there's something else we kind of picked up from that. And Instacode is the database I used for that, which is very popular in the locksmithing community. This one was VIN DNA, I believe it was. So that's an easy asset you can find online. And as far as the bidding and all the rest, well, all the information is available on the when you have an Instacode program. There it is there, 2005 to 2006 actually, Gen 1 Honda HRV, and on the box it actually came up as CRV. So sometimes it is a bit of a puzzle working these type of things out, and if you get it wrong, things aren't going to work. And this time it worked quite well. We're able to get the key number, and now this whole set of this kit can be used to change combination on a car. So if somebody was to lose a key, you could simply replace all the locks and then keep your original coil and basically just transfer the transponder over. Or you could basically go through and reprogram and recut the key, reprogram and wipe the old keys as well and program it out that way. Okay, so making a key for a Honda HRV actually, HRV 2014 I believe, and yeah, that's how we make a key. If you do need a key made for a Honda like this, you can find it on our website, but be aware that if you read the code wrong or you don't get the right code, there's no refunds, because once we've cut a key, if you've read the wrong code, you're going to get the wrong key. Okay, thanks for watching.